Let's get into these sports with our favorite sports reporter. Turn it all the way up.
Everybody, listen it up. Everybody, stop what you're doing and listen to
The Alpha Male.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, sir. We already in the building. You already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. Make sure that you see me here. Whew, man, I am excited. First of all, I'm happy to be back at home. I'm happy to be back in front of you guys, talking to you guys, because man, has it been a week? Has it been a weekend? I don't even know where to start. It's a lot of things I gotta talk about. I mean, I have so many notes. I want to talk about the Jets and what Aaron Rodgers had to say. I want to talk about the undefeated teams who's still undefeated in the league. It's just a lot of stuff I really want to get started with, but let me just slow down just a tad, just a smidge. I want to slow down just a little bit. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for staying in here with Alpha Male, the Alpha Male. I am he is I, and I am him. But if you want to check me out on other platforms, I guess, or other places, or things you want to check out or catch me on, make sure that you check me on at Radio 6 underscore Raheem. Radio the number 6 underscore Raheem. You can also catch Alpha Male on Twitter, Threads, Instagram. You can catch me on all of it. So just make sure that you tap in with me. Just tap in with your boy. It's been a really, really, really good week so far. Let me get this bed back up and going because I ain't done yet. I want to hear that just a little bit of mood music, something in the back of my ear just to kind of give my voice some depth here. But of course, let's not forget about tonight. There is a game that will be going on tonight between the New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. They, of course, are in New York for this game, so make sure that y'all tap in. The Seahawks are looking pretty good. They only got one loss on the record, looking to possibly improve their record. The only team that stands in front of them is the San Francisco 49ers, who are one of the undefeated teams left in the league right now. So they already have a very tough road ahead, but it will be interesting to see how tonight's game goes down or just how things go just in general, because I'm pretty excited about this game. I wanted to tap in with you guys, of course, before the game, you know what I mean? So that we just have a good time. We can talk, we can chat, we can chill, this, that, and the third. And then when the game comes on, y'all can then leave me alone and y'all can go, do what y'all need to do when the game starts. So that's what we'll do with that. Now, I have some business that I feel like I got to address, and I can go ahead and turn my bed music down now because, I feel like there's something that needs to be addressed. And in my opinion, it's the whole, the Swiftie thing, the Taylor Swift thing and the Travis Kelce thing and, all of that stuff. It bothers me a tad bit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just all the hype. It is all the rage in football and media, all in general. Like, seriously, check this out.
Did you see that Taylor Swift dating that football player? His name's like Travis.
Kelce?
Yeah, Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Isn't that awesome? She's gonna be like helping him get his career going and like put him on the
map. So I guess Taylor Swift is putting Travis Kelce on the map. I talked to my wife about it here at home, and what's so interesting is it does seem to be slightly calculated. I would be foolish just to say that, it is not calculated or that they don't know what's going on, but it seems to be calculated. Just want to point that out for one. I mean, just I don't know. It's like perfect. I don't want to call it product placement, but that's what it seems like. Even I even got kind of scooped into the hoopla around the last time. Well, of course, they were at MetLife Stadium last night for the game versus the Jets, which was a media frenzy anyway. Because like anytime Travis Kelce does anything remotely positive on the football field, everybody cues into Taylor Swift. Is like, ah. But check this out: when they were in Arrowhead with her, she was with his mom. She was with his mom.
Well, I think that picture sums up the day.
So, of course, I mean, as you can see, she's pumped for it. And she's hyped for all the hoopla between her and Travis Kelce and all that stuff. It's cool, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't have an issue with it. But how do you feel? Like, how do you feel now that Taylor Swift, I guess, has put Travis Kelce on the map? I mean, I guess that is what is happening. She's putting him on the map, according to the Swifties. It is kind of funny because they're not the only couple that has been publicized. Now, I will agree that I don't know if I've seen a couple publicized to this level now, but I mean, you got what, Alex Arley and Braxton Barrows. You know, he was a former player, I guess, or still is a player. Camille Kostick and Rob Gronkowski. Irina Shayk and Tom Brady. Of course, that was after his wife, and then his former wife, now divorced, Gisele Bundchen and Tom Brady. Sierra and Russell Wilson, of course. Carrie Hilson and Nnamdi Asomugha. Jessica Simpson and Eric Johnson. Then don't forget, Jessica Simpson was at one point engaged to Tony Romo, who played for the Dallas Cowboys. And you all remember the famous clip when she stood up in the press box after Tony Romo threw a touchdown and she, you know, flashed his jersey number and stuff like that. Then you had Danica Patrick and Aaron Rodgers and Shailene. I'm butchering these names. I just want to point that out. But you had Shailene Woodley and Aaron Rodgers, and then you had Olivia Munn and Aaron Rodgers, and then you had Eva Longoria and Mark Sanchez. So the list goes on and on and on with these, with just these, just whatever, the love connection with football. And I mean, I guess it's sort of like an infatuating thing to attract people that aren't necessarily big on football or big on sports or big on too much of anything, in my opinion. So I guess it's cool. It is kind of funny to see that young lady tell her husband that, you know, she's putting Travis Kelce on the map.
You see that Taylor Swift dating that football player? His name's like Travis.
Kelce?
Yeah, Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Isn't that awesome? She's gonna be like helping him get his career going and like put him on the map.
His face like, oh, you mean the guy that scores the touchdowns and wins the Super Bowls and all this other hoopla? But you're talking about that guy, and yeah, that's just really interesting. I just had to point that out because I don't know how to take that. I don't even know how to even go with that. You know, I mean, of course, some or if not all of these people aren't together anymore outside of Sierra and Russell. You know, Aaron Rodgers has hit like dog. He's got a lot. He's got some numbers. Jessica Simpson has done some numbers as well. So Tom Brady's doing 2. You know, Aaron Rodgers doing, like, it's a lot of guys on this list that are repeat offenders, I guess. But let's move forward. Let's move forward just a tad bit. Like I said, he is I and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. You are listening to Alpha Male Sports. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Now, of course, we are just kicking this off. You know what I mean? Just wrapping things up, catching back up with what happened earlier this weekend, things of that such. While I have your attention, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and jump into the college football ranking. As you can see, whenever I start to wipe my face, you know that the room is getting filled with my breath. It means that it's getting warm. But let's jump into the college football rankings right now as we stand with the college football, you know, the college football rankings and stuff. What was it? Okay, so the top 4 haven't come out yet, of course. That doesn't come until later on in the year, but 5 games into the season right now, of course, Georgia right now is leading the pack with 5-0. They've been catching a lot of flack. I just want to point that out. Georgia has been catching a lot of flack simply because of the fact that, that they are. It's just you're supposed to be the number 1 team. You've already won back-to-back national championships. There is somewhat of an expectation for the University of Georgia to repeat and get another national championship. So I am interested in seeing how that goes with the University of Georgia. Followed by them, it is Michigan and Texas and Ohio State. That wraps up the top four. Florida State, Penn State, Washington, Oregon, USC, and Notre Dame wraps out the top 10. Then, of course, Alabama has dropped all the way to the 11th position, which is a complete surprise. Of course, Alabama does have one loss, which no one normally sees ever in college football, but they are one of the top teams of the one-loss teams, whatever. You got Notre Dame, Alabama, Oklahoma, Washington State, North Carolina, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Miami, Utah, Duke, Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, LSU, Fresno State, and Louisville. So those are your rankings. That is the rankings of the teams right now. Of course, I would be, I guess, foolish. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself foolish. I think I'm a pretty smart guy. But it'd be crazy, I think, to talk about college sports when you don't talk about the huge elephant in the room. And he has made himself a very big elephant in the room. Coach Deion Sanders, of course, coaching the Colorado Buffaloes. And this week was an exceptionally tough week for the Buffaloes, simply because they had to go up against another powerhouse team. They were going up against USC. You know that they have their own Heisman Trophy candidate, and he was expected to show out, and he did. And really, to be honest, if you look at the entire game, the game was impressive on both sides. Okay, first of all, I want to point out that this was not the same type of loss by the Buffaloes that it was when they lost to Oregon. When they lost to Oregon, that was I really feel like defensively Oregon put the stompers on them. I ain't gonna hold you, but I don't know if USC, I don't know if they are the team that everyone expects them to be, because they are somewhat of a offensively, I guess, how do I put it? They're offensively dominant. They're offensively dominated. Get it out. But they're offensively dominant, and if you're able to score points, I think you have somewhat of a chance. But they did take a loss, 41-48, which was quite impressive to most people. Shedeur Sanders had a decent game. He had a really good game. First of all, Caleb Williams, who is the Heisman front runner, was 30 for 40 for 403 yards. He averaged 10 yards per pass, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. He ended with a QBR of 93.1. Shedeur Sanders was 30 for 45, 371 yards. He averaged 8.2 yards per pass, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception, which was early in the game. But here's Shedeur Sanders after the game talking about how his performance was with these last 2 weeks. This is how he feels for these last 2 weeks.
Nothing. We just lost. It don't, just because it's a big team, that don't mean we tip our cap and be like, okay, at least we get blown out now. Like, nah, a loss is a loss. We all humans. We all put our pants on the same way. So it's just understanding this is the problem, and we got to get to a solution and find a way to get to a solution, start out fast and get in the zone.
So I want to point something out, man, that these guys are dialed in, and if you've been on the social media landscape lately, if you've been watching social media, if you've been on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, whatever, okay, everybody has something to say about Coach Prime and or the Colorado Buffaloes. I want to point out that if you just know football, okay, if you just know an inkling of football, when people are being completely coached, okay, that there's nothing missing, that the players, they're not missing for anything. I think one person told me a while back that if the coach isn't panicked, if the captain does not panic, neither should you. And I will say both of these weeks, the game against Oregon, the game against USC, Coach Prime has not shaken. He has not wavered. He has not been afraid, or he hasn't even shown to have some form of, I guess, fear in his heart about, oh, well, what will people think about me later? Or how would they think about me now? I've been this big voice. How in the world how can I carry on this way? And I think that is what's to be applauded for the Colorado Buffaloes.
something like this is I'm not going to say, people around the country would say this is what they needed to humble themselves. We wasn't arrogant or whatever. We're confident people. If our confidence offends your insecurity, that's a problem with you. It's not us. We expect to do well. We expect to play well. We expect to win every game we step out there. We expect to practice to perfection and go out there and execute the things that we practice. We just didn't do it today.
Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me, he is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. Monday. Whew. How was your Monday today? Make sure that you guys tap in with me, man. Tell me how your Monday was. Mine was actually pretty good. I went out and got some money today. You know what I mean? I think it's always good when you get some money, to be completely honest. But I had a pretty good Monday. I don't know how you may have had however your Monday may have gone or whatnot. But if it was good for you, man, great. Make sure you tap in with me. You can hit me on my chat line and this, that, and the third, and I can actually talk back to each and every one of you. So make sure that you guys do that if you can. So now I got to tap into something really quickly because, I don't want to call it an argument, but I had a very strong discussion with my younger brother in the barbershop. He does my hair. He cuts my hair, and he and we have some of the most flavorful, most vibrant arguments about football. And that's because he and I have both played it to what we believe to be our best abilities. You dig what I'm saying? My father played college ball. I played college ball. My brother played college ball. That was where we got to. So I do believe that we have somewhat of an opinion or something that we know something about. You dig what I'm saying? And you can only imagine that kind of friction between two people is it makes for great conversation. Trust me, you got to be there. Make sure y'all tap in with me over at Boulder Crescent Flat Shows. Jesse, Jared, make sure y'all tap in with them. It's a dope barbershop. Good vibes, this and the third, whatever. But let's talk about the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers, and Zach Wilson. I got to talk about it because I find it to be quite interesting. Early in the season, before the first snap, before the first 3 plays by Aaron Rodgers, my brother was hyped. He was hot on the Jets. He was like, hey, this is going to be the team to beat. This is a team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl. And I questioned that idea. I even argued with him that idea, like, what tells you that they're going to do such a thing? Only because Aaron Rodgers joins their team. My argument was, so just because one person joins the team ensures that you make it to the Super Bowl. And so, I don't like, first of all, that he was injured, you know what I'm saying? Because I wanted my point to be proven with him on the field. Because I felt like you're playing in the AFC East, okay? You got New England, you've got the Broncos, you've got, you know what I'm saying? You got Miami. Those are 3 tough teams. Regardless of what the record says about New England, they are a very tough team. Let's not forget, they gave the Eagles hell the first game of the season. Their defense was stout. As a matter of fact, the New England Patriots were just coming off of a win against. What? No, it wasn't the Cowboys. Yeah, they just came off of a win against Zach Wilson and the Jets. But anywho, we're going back to them. Now, Aaron Rodgers, he did say that he thinks that it's time for them to grow up. There's no point in pointing fingers. And he said that, of course, from his home before he traveled all the way to New York for the game last night. But he said, I think we need to hold our poise a little bit better across the board. Rodgers said, just offensively, we need not to have some of these things happen on the sidelines. And what he's talking about is the arguments, the pointing fingers, the fussing, the receivers going off on the coordinators, and the coordinators looking like there's a deer in the headlights. And it's just completely bad altogether. I feel like if I was there, some of those things wouldn't happen. I believe that as well. He says that he did undergo Achilles surgery back on September 13th, but he did say, hey, I don't think that we'd be 3-0, but I do think that there is a possibility that a lot of the stuff that's on the sideline, the side stuff, the sideshow antics, that won't happen. And just to be completely honest, I feel like Zach Wilson, he caught a raw deal. Last year, who wouldn't want to be drafted as the number 1 or number 2 draft pick of them all? Who wouldn't want to? But I feel like he's in a situation where they felt like they had to go get somebody to replace you. That somebody goes down. Now they're looking at you like, hey, you're the man. You are the man. You're the one. And of course, the only quarterback to ever win the Super Bowl for the New York Jets spoke out. Joe Namath said that Zach Wilson is awful, and he's against. This was back when they were playing against the Patriots. He said he was awful against the Patriots, and said that he should be traded. The number 2 pick out of the 2022 draft should be, which 2021 draft should be traded. And this is all because he said that he has seen enough. That Joe Namath has seen enough. And in all honesty, I mean, I don't think we should just pass up the young guy. First of all, I do still think it's early in the season. It's extremely early in the season. The Jets do have some other teams that I know that they can match up with. I know that they have some other games that they can step up. There's a chance that they can get this together. Last night, they mounted a great comeback effort against the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like they got hosed at the end of the game. I feel like Sauce Gardner did not hold that player. I feel like there was a holding call that was missed by the referees as well. So let's not just throw Zach Wilson to the wolves and say that he's just garbage and that he's just not worth the money that we're giving him. Because I mean, yes, we do expect something to be different. Yes, the Jets fans expect for there to be something different for the Jets, but unfortunately, that's just not where we are right now. So let's play GM for a day. Let's just be GM for a day. What would you do? Because I've heard a lot of things coming through the grapevine about Zach Wilson. I've heard that maybe that the Falcons should trade Desmond Ridder for him. Maybe we should trade Taylor Heineke, who is the number 2 quarterback of our team. Should we trade for him? Should Justin Fields be traded for Zach Wilson? Some have said that would be an even trade for both teams. And some would say that would even be a better trade for both teams. So what would you say? If you were GM for a day now, if I were GM for a day, I've said this before, I wouldn't do anything. I would not get rid of Zach Wilson. He's got to be there. We got to justify why we spent our money on him. Now, granted, I think in the offseason, yes, we trade him. Do I think we're going to get a lot of money for him? No. Do I think we're going to get a lot of real estate in the draft or whatnot for him? No. But I think that will be a better situation in all, because coming up at the end of the season, there is the draft, and depending upon if you dealt away all your draft picks for Aaron Rodgers, you might get an opportunity to draft another quarterback in the draft. So we'll see how that goes. But if you were GM for a day, that's my question to everybody. If you were GM for a day, what would you do? What would you do if you had to make a decision on Zach Wilson? Because and who would you trade for? Who would you trade Zach Wilson for? You know what I'm saying? I've mentioned Justin Fields. I've mentioned Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke, and those are just 2 teams. We can also, we can look further west, but you tell me as I sweat in the sauna that I am building up here. It's awesome. It's awesome, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. And you are listening to Alpha Male Sports. But as we're going along, we're just talking about sports, talking about football, of course, these last week in the NFL. I got to point out Thursday Night Football, Detroit. I mean, they are awesome. The Detroit Lions are awesome.
Little razzle dazzle. Raymond, tons of room. Khalif Raymond.
As you can see, these guys are blocking. You got the quarterback out there blocking. Shouts out to Jared Goff for not even just being a good quarterback, but leading his team. They are now the kings of the NFC North, and I agree. They are going to run their division. They're going to run Green Bay. They're going to definitely run all over Minnesota and Chicago. But check out Jared Goff when he had some clapback against one of the other. What was it? Yeah, it was Fitzmagic. It was Fitzpatrick.
Throughout the rest of the game. Hope it's up to your standards.
You played a lot. You played very well, dog.
Okay.
We're very happy.
I didn't know it was a poor man's anything, but
He heard that. He's listening.
I heard about it. That's all.
Spicy. Call him out there, Dick.
Andrew.
Receipts.
I didn't do it. Matt Ryan's a pretty good player, too.
Matt Ryan's a hell of a player.
I told him.
I'm giving you a hard time. I appreciate it, man.
So Ryan Fitzpatrick called not Carson Wentz, but Jared Goff a poor man's Matt Ryan. I don't know what a poor man. Matt Ryan seems to be a poor man's Matt Ryan. I mean, no disrespect. I to be honest, man, I have been a fan of Matt Ryan. I won't say since he got here, because I gave Matt Ryan a very difficult time. But as you can see now with the Atlanta Falcons and what's been going on, we could use some Matt Ryan. I mean, we complained when they would score 30 to 40 points a game, but couldn't win a game because they did not have the defense. But now we have the defense. Now we have the pieces in place to possibly win a game or defensively dominate a game, but offensively we cannot seem to get the ball up the field. If you know what I'm saying? So big shouts out to Jared Goff. Big shouts out to the Detroit Lions. Shouts out to Kevin Shepard as well, former teammate of mine. He is one of the defensive, he's actually one of the linebacking coaches up there in Detroit. So major shouts out to him. Keep winning. Hopefully we can see him one day with his own team. That'd be dope. And hopefully we can get him here on Alpha Male Sports. But major shouts out to the Chicago Bears. Not Chicago Bears, but major shouts out to the Detroit Lions for just being who they are, man. They're just winners, man. They've been winning, and I'm impressed. I mean, who can step up to them right now? I think not a single player. Not even a team. Anyway, side note. Let's get to it. Let's get to something else. Side note. As I am wiping the sweat off of my face, you are listening to the Alpha Male. He is I, and I am him. I'm he that they call the Alpha Male. Make sure that you guys tune in with me and check in with me on all of my social medias. You can also catch me on Instagram on my personal Radio 6_Raheem. Make sure that you check me out on my personal @Radio, the number 6_Raheem. And you can also check me on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, all that good stuff on Alpha Male Sports. So make sure that you guys tune in with me there as well. Now, to the two followers that are, watching me right now, major shout out to you. But side note, I really got to point something out. Media day has been going on for the NBA, which is pretty cool today. A lot of your favorite players have been standing up in front of the media with the new jerseys. Zion was out there looking pretty buff and worked out. Hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the season. Of course, he is still down in New Orleans with the Pelicans, but some of the bigger news, of course, was these two guys. Now they are a team. And I had even released, a quick excerpt about Dame Dollar being a Buck, you know what I mean? And that's sort of a play on words because he does rap and he did his own. I think he did a farewell song. I did not listen to that song. I need to find out where I can get it. I'm sure I can get it on Spotify, but major shouts out to the Bucks for landing Dame Dollar. Now Giannis Antetokounmpo possibly will sit still and hopefully he can get himself a championship with him. But I think the most bizarre thing that I've seen throughout this entire media days, of course, was Jimmy Emo Butler. I don't get it, but I feel like he's having fun. Because you guys got to remember just last year, he came out with this. He came out with the locks. He had the whole lock situation that he had just miraculously came out of nowhere with. We know that he wasn't growing dreads. We know that he didn't have, he has hair, but we just knew that he didn't have the extent, but whatever. He got the extensions and he's been the most bizarre thing or person during this entire media day in this media circus. I guess he wants to create one, but beyond that, I'm getting excited, getting amped up for basketball season. LeBron James coming up on his 21st season, and he says that he still has the vigor and the energy of a young man, and I'm interested to see how that plays out. But what I am excited to see though is this new documentary that is going to be on Netflix. And I've always, I've talked to some younger folks, some guys that work with me, and all they know is Steph Curry. All they know is Steph Curry. All they know of is Steph Curry's he's one of one. You know what I mean? If they ask who's him, he's him. And so I'm excited for this documentary because I think it's going to explain who Steph Curry was before there was Steph Curry.
Good, he was great. It looked like I was watching God play basketball.
To watch him have Tourette's syndrome and still destroy the best players in the league.
I could have 9 shots in a row. If there's one glitch in the move, I have to start over. I couldn't embrace success. This is too good to be true. Things like this don't happen to people like me.
I don't think anybody could have foreseen what was about to happen.
I was having issues with my faith. I embraced Islam and life changed.
I noticed that Mahmoud was not standing for the national anthem.
He believes the flag symbolizes oppression.
Am I saying that everything in America is bad? No. But wherever the bad is, as a Muslim, we don't stand for it.
That's when a lot of people turned on him.
Mahmoud never said, I'm gonna burn the house down, but the Klan burned his house down.
I thought I was gonna die every day.
So, of course, that was Sharif. Let me take his face off first of all. But that was Sharif Abdul Rauf. Sharif Abdul Rauf. If you guys don't know him, he played in the NBA in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. I want to just say in the early 90s. And the guy was good. The guy was good. If you've ever seen him play before, and I was able to see some of his older games and stuff like that, he's good. The guy was good. And of course, he became under fire with the whole sitting down during the national anthem when in fact he was praying. And at that time, a lot of people had issues and took issue with him. So the Colin Kaepernick thing was nothing new. Of course, once Sharif Abdul Rauf had these issues or came upon all these issues, of course, he ended up finding his way outside of the NBA. He played, he was out of the league after a while, and that was unfortunate, but this would be a great documentary for people to see. I think this will be a good documentary for a lot of young people to see. So make sure that you guys tune in and check that out on Showtime. I'm excited to see that because I definitely want to see that. You know what I'm saying? But back to the NFL, because of course we got a lot of the matchups that's going on. A lot of the teams that's going to be playing each other, had already played each other yesterday and Saturday. Anywho, yesterday and Thursday. Thursday's game, of course, Detroit stomped all over Green Bay. That was the fourth time, the first time that a coach for Detroit went 4-0 against the Packers since the 1980s. Their defense is really just incredible on a whole nother league. Hutchinson is doing an incredible job, the defensive end out of Michigan. So, of course, he's doing an incredible job. Matt Goff going off saying that he's a poor man, Matt Ryan. And really, who's going to stand up to them in the NFC North? NFC North. In my honest opinion, I think there's going to be a trap game. I don't think that they're going to be perfect throughout the entire season. But it's damn going to be tough for me to say that they're not going to win the division. And we'll just leave it at that. Now, the Eagles taking on the Commanders. That was a nail biter, win in the overtime. Eagles, of course, got the win, so they're one of the remaining undefeated teams in the NFL. They will though be facing some very tough teams as the season goes along. As I get my handy dandy list of games, I got all the games. I have all the games. My wife was dope for getting me this, but. After the Commanders, they got the Rams, they got the Jets, they got Miami, they got the Commanders, and then they have the Dallas Cowboys before a bye week after November 5th. In my honest opinion, I think the Rams is going to be a tough game. It's a winnable game. It's a game that they should win, but the Rams, you don't know what you're going to get out of them. Them as well as the Dolphins and I would say the New York Jets. And let's not forget, after the bye week, they do come up against Kansas City in Kansas City. So that's going to be a good game. The Kansas City, they're not the world beaters that everybody expected them to be this year, coming off of their championship last year. So let's not say that this is going to be a very tough or unwinnable game. But we do expect for the Eagles to continue what they're doing. The road does not get easier from here. But they did what they had to do. Now, moving along to the Dolphins, who was another one of the undefeated teams this past weekend after that incredible win versus the Broncos, the Denver Broncos. They won 70-20 against the Broncos, but of course they fell to the Dolphins. The Dolphins fell to Josh Allen and the Bills. And to be honest, Josh Allen, he played some hero ball, and it actually worked out for him. Josh Allen went crazy against the Fields, going 21 for 25. Let's be correct. 21 for 25 for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns. Let's not forget Stephon Diggs had an incredible day too. Stephon Diggs did a very good job, catching the ball and stuff, whatever. And when you think of I'm him, just think of that clip of Stephon Diggs on the side. I'm him. Let's think of that. That's funny. But anywho, and then, of course, you got the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey went nuts. 20 carries for 106 yards and 4 touchdowns, 3 of which were rushing, 1 of which was receiving. Shouts out to Christian McCaffrey, who also got a tweet from LeBron James saying that he is crazy. So as you can see, there's only 2 teams that are still undefeated in the entire NFL. It's the Eagles and the 49ers. Like my buddy Griff would say, the Fairy Niners. He's also a Raiders fan, so you see how much fun that gets him. But there's only 2 teams that's undefeated in the NFC, really in the entire NFL. And I think we might see these same 2 teams in the NFC Championship like last year. The only difference is I do believe that San Francisco is going to be healthier. They're going to have Brock Purdy healthy going into that game. Am I looking forward? Am I looking too far ahead? Maybe. But I honestly don't know if the Eagles or San Francisco will fall to anybody in the playoffs. They have incredible run games. They have good quarterbacks that can handle and manage the game. Tell me if I'm wrong. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. But I think these 2 teams are going to be in the NFC Championship. Now, the battle of the undefeated, the defeateds, let's just call that the Broncos, and then the Bears, and then you had the Carolina Panthers, and you had the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Broncos, 17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter helped them get their first win of the season. Of course, it was over the Bears. Now, I have to ask this question. Who do you feel is more of the issue? Now, they brought in Sean Payton. He was supposed to be a quarterback guru. He helped Drew Brees get a championship in Louisiana. He was supposed to be the answer. As a matter of fact, Russell Wilson was also supposed to be the answer before the end of that season, or before they both got there. Let's say that. I do not know if either one is. To be honest, I think the Broncos might need a whole new revamp. Let's check out what the Broncos have going forward. I know the Broncos, they have the New York Jets. They have the Kansas City Chiefs. That's on October 12th. On Thursday, they have Green Bay, and then they have Kansas City again. So that is going to be a tough one. And then I got to ask the question, where do we start with Chicago? Because though they are completely defeated, they lost again on Sunday. Where do we begin to clean up? They got some more receivers for Justin Fields. They've tried to strengthen up their offensive and defensive line. And now we are sitting at this point. So now we have to ask the question, first of all, when are they going to get their win, the Bears? And what is the answer? Where do we begin, or where do we start to clean up in Chicago? How do we start over in Chicago? Now, Chicago Bears, of course, they have their the next 4 games of their schedule as well. You got Washington this Thursday, October 5th, and you have Minnesota, Las Vegas, and the LA Chargers. To be completely honest, all of these teams seem to be difficult except for the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think that Minnesota even got it together, to be honest, which is another one of the completely defeated teams. I need to find a better word for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were completely defeated. you have undefeated teams. They're undefeated. I mean, they haven't been defeated yet. But I got to know what are we going to do with the Vikings. Of course, they won, beating Carolina 21-13, which was great. They finally got their first win. Major shouts out to those guys. Let's give them a round of applause. Great. But where do we go from here? We know what the problem is with Carolina. They have a new rookie. They're trying to break something in there. They're trying to install a culture there post Cam Newton. So give them a break. But what do we do or say about the Minnesota Vikings? Last year, they were completely undefeated around this time last year. They were supposed to be a Super Bowl contender this time last year. Now this year, they'd be lucky to even be in the runnings for this division, standing at the bottom of this division, the NFC North, that is. So let's go ahead and I mean, you tell me, with both of these teams really being at the bottom of their divisions, the bottom of the NFL, you tell me, you know what I'm saying? Now, I think I had some, I believe, let's say this, I believe that I had some imaging for this, this thing that was going on. No, I don't actually. Oh, well. But who was there? I know we were all there when, well, I hope you were up at the time when everybody was in Andy's room. I of course, got a glimpse of, the whole football in Andy's room. The Atlanta Falcons taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in London from Wembley Stadium. But also they were in Andy's room as well. Quite impressive. I ain't gonna hold you. I liked it. I actually liked it. If I were a kid watching that, you know what I mean, not knowing nothing about football, I think that would be interesting, to be completely honest. But, we all know what happened and how that ended. Desmond Ridder just stunk up the place in the first half. They kind of got it together in the second, but we'll save that for Friday as far as the discussion about the Atlanta Falcons, because that's just going to put me in a very terrible mood for the rest of the night, just to be completely honest. But the other wins for this weekend, or this past weekend, the Bengals took a major loss against the Titans, falling to 1-3. We do have to see what's going on in Cincinnati. Falcons, of course, falling to Jacksonville, falling to 2-2. Jacksonville, they are jumped to 2-2. The Texans, with a major win versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams, who won with them? I got to see that. Who won between the Rams and the Colts? I would say the Rams. Yeah, the Rams won 29-23. Patriots, of course, took a major L, gave Bill Belichick his very first loss in the not his very first loss, but the worst loss in his career. He got the worst loss versus the Dallas Cowboys. Who believes in them, to be honest? I don't. It's great that they're doing great. Major shouts out to the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm telling you, I do not see them. I see the NFC being a two-man race. 49ers and the Eagles. I said it here first. 49ers, Eagles. Of course, the Chiefs, they won. They beat the New York Jets last night. And tonight, coming up in a few more minutes, which I'm about to get ready to go see, we have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the New York Jets, the G-Men, in New York tonight. Geno Smith, not Mac Jones, whatever the heck their quarterback is. Hopefully he can do great. Yeah. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. I had a great time tonight. It was Monday night. But make sure that you guys tap in with me. Make sure that you guys tap in with me on Wednesday. Gonna have another fun-packed show. We're gonna be loaded. Make sure y'all tune in with me, man. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. Peace.